So the first two problems is where the problem starts. And from here on, when you're talking about how, what next, okay, you're feeling guilty about it, but this creates a trigger for the rest of the problems. When I say rest of the problems, you might be going through procrastination, distraction and restlessness, fear of failure, negativity, hopelessness, frustration. So when you look at all of these issues, they're all interlinked. When you have too many distractions, when you're constantly distracted by one thing or the other, that will lead to procrastination because you cannot do what is needed in the moment. Now you have to study, you just cannot study because you're constantly distracted. So you procrastinate today's studies to tomorrow. You'll think that, okay, I have not completed today, I'll complete it tomorrow. Or today I have something to complete, let me start tomorrow. You're always procrastinating things. And because of this, you start feeling restlessness at the end of the day. At the end of the day, you know that you have postponed something temporarily, but you feel restless because you know that it has to be done today or tomorrow. So that will start creating some level of restlessness. And this will lead to fear of failure. And this will be pushing you into a zone of negativity, hopelessness, and frustration. You're constantly frustrated about anything. It's not just about your CA, you're just frustrated. You're constantly frustrated. Okay. How many of you are going through 3 or more problems here? How many of you are going through 3 or more problems here? Yes, right? Yes, yes, yes. So most of you are going through more than 3 problems here, right? As you rightly agree. And if you look at what's there on the right side, this is from one of my mentees quite recently. She has texted overthinking, stress, laziness, time management, lack of concentration, and while writing the exam, speed, unable to recover the points. So if you look at all these issues, these are all byproducts of this. These are the main inner problems. These are all byproducts. These are all byproducts. So when you feel excessively guilty about what is happening, that will lead to stress. That will lead to stress and overthinking. And when you procrastinate too much, it's nothing but linked to laziness. And this is also linked to time management because you're not able to complete something in a given time. When you have too many distractions, distractions lead to lack of concentration. So everything is interlinked to the core problems. So once you have a problem, that will inadvertently lead to some other problems. Okay, one problem leads to other problem, and you'll be caught in this vicious cycle. You'll be caught in this vicious cycle. Now, if you look at the percentages, if you look at the percentages of IPCs in the last couple of attempts, 1.54 and 1.90%, which means that out of 100 people, only one person is able to clear both his group. And even if you look at the single group level, it's still 15 to 20%. So as I said in the beginning of the webinar, you only have 20 people clearing this exam. You only have 20 people clearing this exam, which means that at any point of time, there are 80 people who are facing failure. Now the choice is, do you want to continue being in that 80% scenario, or do you want to do something and get into this 20% zone? Okay, how many of you want to find yourself here? How many? Because you're anyways here, everybody falls into this category. Now how many of you want to find yourself here? Type yes. How many of you want to type find yourself here? Most of you, right? Again, so most of you want to find yourself here. Lovely. And the same goes with your CA final. So again, the average pass percentage once again around 15-20%, hardly 75 to 80 people. 75%, 80% of the population would anyways not clear. The same thing, you just have to find yourself here, right? So it's a little bit lemon. Both groups, there are 817. Guys, imagine this, all across India, only 817 people. 817 is the number of students in one particular college or one particular coaching center. But all across India, this is the unfortunate situation where we are in. Okay. Now let's look at this particular aspect in detail. Again, on the left hand side, you have a student texting me, because in our mentorship program, what will happen is we will ask the students to mention their problems quite clearly. So these are some of the issues which are being faced. So these are the top 10 reasons. We have reached out to more than 2,000 students in the last couple of months because of multiple platforms. We have been doing this webinar over the last 2 weeks, and also we do a lot of surveys and forms, that Google Forms where we send to students in WhatsApp groups, and we try to collect information, trying to help them out. So if you look at the top 10 problems where students across India have faced it. So the first aspect is they're not able to plan this properly, and poor planning includes poor implementation. They cannot implement what they have planned. Okay, and improper time management and lack of proper guidance, because they know that they're ready to spend those 6 to 8 hours. They know that they're ready to work hard, but the point is they don't know which direction to go. They don't know which direction should they put in their efforts. If they have that right direction, they're ready to go to any extreme. So just like sports, you also need somebody to guide you properly. Choice of study material, they're always confused between book A versus book B. Coverage of syllabus, they are not able to cover the entire syllabus. Somebody say that read only important topics, someone else will say that cover complete syllabus, so they're not clear about it. And this fear of failure is constantly bothering them, because unless they have reasonable certainty, they can't proceed with wholeheartedness. They'll always have a question: if I'm going to fail, what's the point in studying for 1 month? So they'll have this question mark constantly, and less emphasis on theory, practice and presentation. Very few people spend a lot of time on presentation, memory and revision, demotivation and diversions. Okay, these are the major issues. And if you look at the student, once again, panicness, overthinking, time management, lack of focus, poor concentration, memory, conceptual clarity. If you look at it, so all the problems are interlinked, and most of the problems, I can give you like another 30, 40 screenshots, which I got received in the last couple of days. But the point is, at the end of the day, the same issues: time management, concentration, focus, lack of guidance, unable to implement. Okay, so these are all classic problems which is bothering each and every student. Now, how many? Those who are watching this webinar right now, pick up the top 3 issues here. You have numbers, you're able to see numbers here, right? 1 to 10. Now type, what are the top 3 issues which are concerning you? What are the top 3 issues which are concerning you? Type in the chat box. Type in the chat box. You don't have to worry about it. Your charts are secured. They're visible only to me. Nobody else can see it. Okay, you can type it. You can type it. No issue about it. So what are the top 3 problems which you are facing? So type the numbers. Just type the numbers. All right. So each of you are facing at least 3 and more than that, right? So most of you are facing multiple problems in this. So this is something which is quite normal. The reason why I'm pointing out these problems and issues very clearly is that these are certain issues which are being faced by everybody. So you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about it. But the question is, you really have to solve it. You really have to solve it. You just cannot ignore this problem. You just cannot ignore this problem. You really have to do something, and you really need to solve the problems. Okay. Now, which is the right approach? So taking all the problems into consideration, taking all the issues into consideration, the right preparation strategy. So if you have 60 days, how would you plan your entire 60 days? Okay, now any preparation plan, it's uniformly applicable for group 1, group 2, or both the groups are CWA, CS, any exam. It has to happen in 5 different phases. The first one the first one is called begin with the end. Begin with the end. When I say begin with the end, you need to understand what will help you clear this exam. What is the single most important thing which will help you clear this exam? It's nothing but the exam itself, okay? Because you clearing an exam, you getting a certificate depends on what you write in those 3 hours. No matter what happens the 2 months before that, or the 3 years before that, examiner would only know you based on the communication between you and him in those 3 hours in that paper. So essentially, your communication is written. Whatever you write in the answer sheet will matter, and nothing else. Nothing else. So if you have to communicate, if you have to convince somebody, when you have only 3 hours and when you have only 180 minutes, the first most important thing is you have to ensure that all this 180 minutes are being utilized. The problem right now is a lot of people are able to focus only around 120 to 135 minutes in the examination because of multiple reasons. Now you have to move it from 120 to 135 to 180 or 175 minutes for the battle. If you're able to use it, time is like money there. The more money you have, the better bargaining capacity you have, right? When you walk into a store, when you have unlimited credit access, you can buy the best one. You can have the best bargaining power. So more time you have to prove yourself. More time you have to help yourself and make the other person understand you, okay? The first important challenge is 180 minutes. Quantitatively and qualitatively, how exactly you can focus on the entire 180 minutes. For developing this 180 minutes, you are practicing for 180 hours. In our mentorship program, I'll help you more about the details. In our mentorship program, each and every given day, you will be studying from 2 to 5. 2 to 5 is a fixed study slot. 2 to 5 is a fixed study slot. You will be studying from 2 to 5 each and every given day. Imagine you studying from 2 to 5 for 60 days continuously, which will take you a practice time of 180 hours. 180 hours, if you practice, that 180 minutes will become perfect, right? And I'm not exaggerating this, because if you look at somebody like Usain Bolt, for running those 10 seconds, 9.58 seconds and 10 seconds, he has practiced for 10 hours. I would say 10 years in that matter. Forget about 10 hours a day, for 10 years in a row. Okay, for 10 seconds, if somebody is ready to practice for 10 years, I don't think for mastering 3 hours, it's worth spending those 180 hours or 60 days or whatever is required to get to the rightful position to utilize the maximum for 180 minutes. And there are many things revolving around this. Exam writing strategy is one particular thing which we discussed this. And the other one being, we call it the cut, copy and paste. When I say cut, copy and paste, I'm referring the time period between 5 p.m. of the previous examination, 5 p.m. of the previous examination to 2 p.m. of the next day. So this is the gap between one exam and the second exam. When you have this much gap between one exam and the second examination, you have to ensure that this entire time is utilized to the best. So we look at 20 hours between this period. The day 1, after 5 p.m., you have 4 hours. Day 2, you have 12 hours. Day 3, you have another 4 hours. Okay, 4 plus 12 plus 4 is 20 hours. This 20 hours you have to revise very, very, very effectively. If you're able to revise very effectively, that will create wonders for you. When I say cut, copy, and paste special, what we mean is that you have to cut off from what has happened earlier. Whether you prepared for it completely or not, let's cut it off. Whether you wrote the previous exam properly or not, just cut it off. Copy whatever is there in your notebook that has to be copied. You have to lift it from the notebook, because you're not carrying the notebook to the examination. So you have the last chance to look at the notebook. So you have to copy and paste special. Instead of directly dumping it into the examination paper, you have to make something different. You have to change the format. You have to change the information which you have learned to make it into some meaningful, presentable and form. Okay. So cut, copy and paste special. This is about the 20-hour super revision strategy between the exams, 20-hour super revision. And this one, the phase 3, we call it, you can still go mad. When I say you can still go mad, you can still go make a difference. The time period in June, precisely from June 3rd to June 18th, that 15 days or 16 days time period is super crucial. It's extremely important because you have, when you're writing one group, you have around 50 hours to study per group. Okay, so what you have in the earlier revision or in the earlier preparation plan, if you have spent 100 hours, now you have another 50 hours to revise everything which you have studied. All the backlogs would be rectified here. So this is a beautiful time to move from 40 to 45 or 40 to 48. So this 5 to 8 marks will get added here, okay, in June. And what you revise in June for 50 hours, you'll revise it once again in 20 hours. So look at the amazing planning happening here. 50 hours, one revision, and 20 hours. So this is very effective. This is very effective. And before that, at least 100 hours you spend on the subject. So 3 proper revisions in a span of 1.5 months. In a span of 1.5 months, you're able to revise thrice. So this is the power of having a right strategy. And more sweat here, less stress there. This is all about May. May, you have 3 tracks. You have 3 tracks, simple and straightforward, 9 to 12, 2 to 5, 6:30 to 8:30. That's it. 3 tracks, simplified tracks, super simple tracks. And every day, whatever you have to read will give you the timetable hour by hour. You just have to look at it. You know each and everything. May 22nd, evening 2 to 5 p.m. What are you studying? You'll have it now. So on May 21st, even if you're not able to focus, if you lose one day because of some relatives or somebody, you don't have to go into depression because you know what to do next. You know about the next day. So this way, there won't be any lack in the preparation. There won't be any downtime. Most of you have mentioned about diversions and distractions, right? Diversions and distractions. So you get diverted and distracted when you don't know the route. When you know the route, when you know where you have to go, no matter how many turns are there. Because I'll tell you this: when you're trying to find an address, the problem comes to you. The problem comes to you only when you don't know the address, right? When you know, when you have the GPS, when you have the GPS signal, when you have the GPS locator for you, oh, no matter how many turns are there, imagine every turn is a distraction, but you know where to go. You always have the compass to, so nothing will distract you, nothing will deviate you because you know the route, you know the clear-cut route. So that is what happens. And before that, uh, before you jump into the studies, we will help you to train your mind. We call it mind mastery session. This is mind mastery sessions because we kind of ensure that you build the right mindset. Now you have concentration issues, focus issues, and confidence issues, and all the time you will be scared whether you are going to clear or not, and you are having a lot of worries about theory papers and something about practical papers. You cannot remember theory, you cannot apply a formula into the practical subject. So hundreds of problems running into your mind. And is 2 months enough? My friend has started 4 months ago, somebody has started 6 months ago. I'm not touched my book yet, my preparation is not complete, my coaching is not yet done. So I have hundreds of questions. To answer all of this, you need a very, very, very strong and resilient mindset. So we kind of build a very strong and resilient mindset to ensure that you will be able to go ahead and face all the phases, right? Before you go and fight a war, you have to get trained like a soldier, right? Like a soldier, like a warrior. It's a physical war. This is mental war. It's a battle. It's like chess. You have to get trained, okay? So we take care of all of this. And these are the issues, these are the aspects of the mentorship program which will help you out. So this one-to-one guidance is absolutely important, because when I say uh, one-to-one guidance, what happens is the problem which you are facing would be different from somebody's problem in a different note. See, there are certain problems which are common to everybody, but the solution which has to be given to you would be slightly different from how others need it. Everybody gets fever. Everybody gets the same issue. But the point is, you go to a doctor, right? Because you want to know how exactly it is working for you. You can't take the prescription of your friend and start using it for yourself, which will have disastrous consequences. So in the same way, you need one-to-one guidance, and you need expert guidance till the last day. Because what will happen is, today you have one problem, 1 week later you have some other problem. Just before the exam, you need something else. So you need an expert who can handle this, not some random person. You need some expert who can handle this. And mind master techniques, And you need a precise and practical preparation strategy. You need a precise and practical preparation strategy, because if somebody asks you asks you to read for 15 hours, it's not workable, it's not practical, right? You need something which will work out. And you need conceptual clarity, daily and hourly targets, continuous monitoring, frequent follow-ups, answer writing methods, writing practice, and most importantly, you need to remember what you have studied. And there are a lot of productivity hacks, optimization of time, focus, and energy. Okay, these are the ingredients. Okay, time, focus, concentration, and energy are those minute level softwares which will help you to go ahead and crack the exam. And this stress management and pressure handling. When I say stress management and pressure handling, stress is caused internally, pressure is caused externally. Pressure is caused externally. So stress is something which is generated from within. You need to handle it properly. And pressure, you need to cut off pressure completely. Okay. So you should have answers for all of this. Your preparation strategy should include all of this, not just your 7 or 8 books. So this should include everything of this. When this comes to a bundle, that means that your game is full. You just cannot have only pawns over there. You need the cavalry, you need bishops, you need horses, you need everything. You need the rook. You just need everything, right? In order to go ahead and attack the opposition, you need all the 16 things sorted. So that way we have everything sorted for you to get ready for you for the main mental battle. Okay. Now I'll explain more about this. I'll explain more about this. But fundamentally, how many of you are interested in a program like this? I'm saying whatever issues which you have faced in the last couple of years, or 3 years, number of attempts, let's not bother about it. Those would not matter. I'm asking only for the 2 months, May and June. I need your complete commitment. I need your complete commitment, dedication with a fresh mindset. If you have complete commitment, dedication with a fresh mindset, we can work wonders. So how many of you are ready to put in their best efforts for the 2 months? And how many of you are looking for a program like this? Okay. So how many of you would be interested in a program like this? All right, most of you, that's good to know. Before we proceed ahead, let me clarify that since I mentioned one-to-one guidance here, the number of people which we kind of take in is very limited. The number of people which we kind of take in is extremely limited. So I may not be able to take everyone who is interested. I think more than 10 to 12 people have showed their direct interest, and it could be more. But the point is, I have only 5 slots in this webinar. I can take only 5 people because we have an algorithm which runs. So every day we'll be targeting various cities with specific focus. So we just cannot take everybody at once in one webinar, because we want to reach our presence all across India. So that way we'll be able to cater multiple people from multiple cities. And also we want people who take a quick decision. I'll open up the slot for you to go ahead and register. But before that, you have to take a quick decision, and I can offer this program only to 5 people. So if you are really interested, you just have to be mentally ready, and I'll tell you how we can enroll and how much you have to pay and all. But before that, I'll explain in detail about what exactly this program has. I'll show you more about this. Okay. So let's understand more about this, how this program will help you out. This will bring in some level of consistency, which includes the day-wise study plan, follow-up, systematic revision, zero downtime. This is important because zero downtime is important because you cannot afford to waste your time for new reasons. Every day there are newer reasons. You just cannot afford to waste your time sitting over what has happened. And here there are certain techniques. The third one or the second one, there are certain techniques which will help you to boost your productivity, how do you boost your productivity? To make sure that you are bringing in more and more brain power. How do you engage more and more brain power? When you tap your subconscious, when you enhance your memory, okay, will take care of the qualitative aspects also, apart from the expert guidance which you are talking about, will take care of the qualitative aspects also. And generally, if you look at what is it happening to a normal student, if you look at the mark sheet, the same marks, the same 183 marks are good enough for her or him to go ahead and clear their CA. But what is happening is the distribution of efforts is not uniform. 63 and 35, 63, the marks have been reversed, 63 and 36 and 35. Look at it. So you need to divide your energy and attention into equivalent parts in such a way that you are clearing the group, not just one paper like this. You're just clearing the group. And her contention was ISCA is very difficult. I would say you just cannot say that one subject is difficult. You can only say this chapter is difficult. You can never say that one subject is completely difficult. And I'll show you practically about what I'm talking about. Now let's say ISCA is difficult, and ISCA has got 8 chapters here. And the first important aspect is you cannot blindly look at ISCA with 8 different chapters. You have to see that it has to be broken down into 3 systematic components. There are certain topics which are easy. There are certain topics which are normal. There are certain topics which are hard. So she believed that ISCA is hard only because of 2 chapters. And I would say, even if you ignore the 2 chapters completely, you can still go ahead and clear the examination. So you're worried about certain things which are irrelevant. You can still leave the 2 chapters and go ahead and clear. I'm not suggesting you to leave the chapters, but only 2 chapters are making you think that the entire ISCA is hard. So you need to have more clarity in about how we think about it. And the segregation would be different for different people, easy, normal, and hard. And people ask a lot about short notes, and this is how I recommend it. So in order to overcome fear of ISCA, I have strongly recommended her to write short notes, to maintain short notes for each and every chapter. Now her entire ISCA has been boiled down to 48 pages. In 48 pages, she has written down entire ISCA. So now she's no longer worried about opening that boring ISCA book in black and white, because she has wrote down everything with her own hand. And these are illustrative timesheets which we give for each and every day. This is a 6-hour timetable, 3 hours plus 3 hours. This is a 7-hour timetable, depending on what stage you are in, depending on where we are, depending on how much time you will be able to study. We'll create customized timetable for you. So each and every slot is given to you. We don't give weekly plans, we give hourly plans. This is what you have to do. When you have 4 hours to do, so this is how you can utilize 4 hours per day. And everything is a part of this. So this is our unique tool which will help you enhance your productivity. When I say HIMSS-PET, this is performance evaluator and tracker. This is performance evaluator and tracker. This is highly important. This is highly important because at any point of time, you should be able to understand what stage of preparation are you in, what level of preparation are you in, okay? Now I'll show you what a PET is. Okay, I'll show you the master copy of it so that I don't have to share the student details. So the first page, you'll have an understanding about the mentorship plan, how does it works and dates and all the links which you can follow. And whenever we upload a video, you'll get an access here. So for each one of you, I'll give you 4 to 5 videos. We have hundreds of videos, but we'll share which videos to be watched. So these are the issues. And then you have a summary sheet. You have the summary sheet here. So summary sheet, you have each and every subject. For each and every subject, I'm just giving you illustration of final for each and every subject which is given. So these are the total hours which you have to spend. What are the total completed hours? Super revision. This is the May plan, this is June plan, and these are the suggested answers, whether you have done it or not. RTPs, mock tests, MCQs, and what are the major issues you are facing and what is your target score. So this is a summary sheet, and this is the May month planner. Look at how detailed it is. Look at how detailed it is. So it starts with prevision. The morning you wake up, the moment you wake up in the morning, you have to start with 30 minutes of prevision. When I say prevision, it's previous day's revision. Whatever you studied in the last day, you have to study 30 minutes the moment you wake up. I'm not giving a time here because whenever you wake up, it could be 5, 6, 7, 8, whenever it is, you can just revise for 30 minutes. Then you can proceed ahead. Your first slot starts at 9 o'clock. Your morning starts with 9 o'clock, like your articleship, like your college. You don't have to worry about everything the moment you wake up. You can have your time, you can exercise for a bit, you can have your breakfast, aram se, and then you can start your preparation 9 to 12. And once this is done, 12 to 12:15, you need to revise whatever you have studied. 9 to 12, 12 to 12:15, you have revised. After 12:15, you have a break of 1 hour 45 minutes. Break. Don't study anything. Just break. That's it. And for each and every study year, let's say in the first study year, you face memory issues. You can mention it. You can mention it here. In the study year 1, you can mention that you face some memory issues. So this tracker is completely under my control and your control. Nobody else. It is locked. It is locked. So nobody else can see this. Whatever changes we make, it's not. You don't have to download and upload. You just have to make the changes directly. Whatever changes you make, I'll get all the updates in real time. All the changes are saved in Drive directly. Okay. So let's say in the second study hour, you're studying costing. Revision, it's done. Remarks, unable to understand, I would say OR. Let's say if you are not able to understand a particular chapter in OR, it could be assignment, transportation, or whatever it is, you just have to mention it here. You just have to mention it here. So you just have to mention it here. So I'll be looking at all your remarks and I'll come back with the solution, what has to be done. The next study hour and the next revision, look at it. And also, this is one part of it. For each and every hour, you will be studying only for 55 minutes. The next 5 minutes, you will be revising, okay? So this is the level, this is the attention to detail in which you would be doing something, okay? This is what we are discussing about the PAT, performance evaluator and tracker. This is the attention to detail which will give. So effectively, you're revising everything every 1 hour, every 3 hours, and once again at the end of the day, and at the next day beginning. So when it happens, when you're having 5 revisions, in a given day, within the matter of 1.5 hours, look at the beauty of it. You just cannot forget. You don't have to bother about cycles of revisions because you're almost doing instant revision. Since the exam is pretty close by, you'll remember all of this. See, most of the time gets wasted in studying the same thing over and again. If you have to study everything at once, the time is definitely sufficient. Okay, this is the level of attention to detail which will go. And for each and every subject, the details are clearly mentioned. So when are you studying what? Accounting standards, when are you studying? When is the scheduled date? When is it? So let's say corporate accounting, if you want to study it on May 4th, okay? And this has got decent weightage. So let's say it has got weightage of D. Competencies, how much comfort you are having on the subject, okay? So depending on that, you can mention it. And then number of problems solved, percentage of completion, super revision, pending topics, current status, issues faced, and remarks. If you mention all of this for each and every subject, you can mention all of this for each and every subject. So your complete journey is under constant control. It is under complete control, under proper guidance. Look at the possibilities when you have this. You know that which subject you are lacking. You know that which topic you are lacking. You know that which topic you have studied and not revised. So this is as best as it can get. It's one of the very few trackers in the entire nation. So if you could do on a very, very systematic basis like this, what will stop you? And apart from this, every call we have, the mentor updates. So whenever we have a call, whenever you raise something, we mention the date, we have the issue. It will be written what it did I suggest you. It will be even take a note of what's your response and status. I'll close the status, open or close. The query is, let's say you mentioned about memory problem. I've suggested some techniques. You'll write, I will implement it. So total, if it worked out, the query is closed. Next, we move on to the next problem. Next, we move on to the next problem. Okay. This is the level of detailing. This is the level of detailing which we will go ahead, right? Now tell me how many of you are interested in a program like this? How many of you are interested? How many of you are interested in this? Yeah, Vikram, this is MacBook. So with 14%, it will work out. That's okay. This will work out. Thanks for the suggestion. Yeah. And good observation though. Nice observation. Okay. Now I'll quickly, and this is for somebody, who don't like excuses because they want to do something, whatever it is, whatever it takes, and who believe that they have spent enough time in life trying to do the same thing again, the same mode, repeatedly failing, and getting stuck in CA when they have many things in life to do, and who believe that time is valuable in life, and who want to break this boring cycle of fear, failure. Every attempt you're scared. Because of your fear, you fail. Once you fail, you're once again scared. So you're just stuck in this constant cycle of fear and failure. So this is a classic problem which most of you might be facing. So for people who are looking for a clear-cut solution, this program will solve everything. This program is designed in such a way that, as you can see, I'm just quickly taking you through all the aspects once again. So this program will help you in overcoming all of this. And this is exactly how you can make the maximum out of this. So this includes everything. This kind of includes everything. Okay. Now, you might be having many further questions. So all your questions will be answered. And the reason why this cannot be solved in half an hour or 1 hour is, let's say you get a fever. You can go to a doctor as an outpatient, OP consultancy. You go to fever, you'll go to a doctor, he'll check your fever, and he mentions, okay, take crocin, take paracetamol, take rest. That is done. Now, if you get something serious, if there is an emergency, you will be taken to an ICU. In ICU, it's not a question of half an hour or 10 minutes. You will be placed there. You will be placed there for constant surveillance because it is a serious problem. It cannot be solved directly. A prescription cannot be given to an ICU patient because they don't know what is coming next. Now, there will be blood loss. Later on, there will be something else. So newer problem will keep coming to you. So the doctor advised that you should be in constant monitoring and constant surveillance. The same is with your mentorship. Now, it's not a simple problem. You have been stuck with this problem for the last 2 years. Now I'm telling you, I'm going to solve it in 2 months. So when I say this, I need you under constant surveillance. I need you what is happening in your life for the next 2 months. Only when you can commit me those 2 months, this will work. Just because you listen to this for half an hour or 1 hour and get goosebumps, nothing is going to happen. And I never mentioned motivation anywhere here because I don't believe in motivation. What happens with that is you get temporary up, that you can get a rush of dopamine, and then it falls down. You need a strong persistence. You need a strong dose of drive which will take you forward. You need a strong reason which will keep you moving forward instead of temporary motivation capsules externally. You can't depend on external capsules, right? You need to enhance your immunity. That's what we do during this program. Okay, this is something which will help you move to the next level, which will help you achieve your results because of your strength, not because of something external, right? So for this program, as you can see, I'm a life coach, chartered accountant, cost accountant, have many other qualifications. I worked with EY for a couple of years before I moved into this, so which actually means that I had a very happening career. I had a chance to settle down in London, but I rejected everything